In my book, Small Moments, Big Outcomes, How Leaders Create Cultures That Fuel Extraordinary Results, I talk about the importance of thinking of yourself as not just a leader, but a culture leader. In fact, I think it's more important than it has ever been because we know culture is your number one competitive advantage. It is your number one driver of success. It affects absolutely every aspect of your business, from your customer service to your employee experience, to employee engagement and morale, to how well you communicate and work together and collaborate, how effective your meetings are, how good the coffee tastes. Your culture affects absolutely every aspect of your business. It is your number one driver of success as long as you're intentional about it, which means as a leader, you have to be intentional about your culture and you need to think of yourself as a culture leader because, hey, the whole deal with being a leader is you have a disproportionate impact over your culture. You have a disproportionate impact over the influence on your culture. Everything you say and do either adds to your workplace culture or detracts from your workplace culture in some way. So when I use the phrase being an intentional culture leader, what do I mean? Like, what does that look like? Well, essentially it just means that you have to be the flag bearer, the torch carrier. Is that the torch carrier? You know, the torch person, the torch holder for your culture. You have to be the champion for the culture. You have to look at everything you do as a leader through the lens of your culture, which means hiring with your culture in mind, promoting, attracting employees with your culture in mind, first of all, onboarding employees and training new employees and existing employees on your cultural norms. It means relentlessly talking about your values and your cultural norms and expectations. You need to be the chief repeating officer when it comes to what matters in terms of your culture. You need to be a visionary in terms of talking about the vision for what your culture looks like, for what your desired ideal culture can be. It's about holding your employees and yourself accountable for living up to your cultural norms. After all, you are only as good, your culture is only as good as the weakest link in your culture, as the lowest common denominator behavior that you tolerate in your culture. And ultimately, I think this is maybe the most important thing of all. It's about when you make decisions, looking at every single decision through the lens of your culture. So how does this decision impact our culture? Does this help us build? Does this help us foster, grow the culture that we want? And just as importantly, does it reflect the culture that we want? So what do you think? What do you think of the term intentional culture leader or just culture leader? What are you doing to be intentional about your workplace culture? What do you think leaders need to do to be intentional as a culture leader? Please leave a comment in the comment box. And hey, if you're watching this on the YouTube as the kids call it, then please make sure you hit the subscribe button, join our growing community as we talk about inspiring workplace cultures that drive outrageous results.
Let's energize your workplace. Mike's here for some serious fun.